if you've ever gotten a multi-tool, or basically any tool, and you have proprietary screws that are exposed like this, you may have found it very frustrating to tune them or to modify them. Well, today's video, we're going to talk about a couple of solutions that I've found, and actually something very new that just was discovered that might make it a lot less expensive to do as well. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's begin with the reason why this video is here in the first place. I've already briefly talked about screw pliers and how they can be used to modify multi-tools in the past. It wasn't very long, and I think I should expand on that quite a bit, and I will in this video. The other thing that you can do is you can actually get specialized tools that work directly with, in this case, the Leatherman knurled screws, knurled nuts, okay? Now, these are a pain to actually change or manipulate or anything like that because you basically have no tools for them, and you're likely to scratch up the surface quite a bit by modifying them, if not just destroy the screws in the first place. Thankfully, there was someone out in Russia a number of years ago who made a set of tools for them, and I actually purchased these a few years ago from Low-Key Mobile, but lately these have become very, very difficult and expensive to source. Thankfully, there is a new solution. These are actually made right here in America, and I will put a link to both the eBay listing as well as the website where you can find them. And the best part of all is that they are half the cost. In fact, I got these two sets together for $30 off of eBay, but they run about $17 per set. And they work excellently for all of the Leatherman multi-tools, the Crunch, the Super Tool 300, the Bond, and the Rebar, etc., that have those. Also the Charge Plus, and there's a few others as well. They work great, but as long as they work for either the Rebar or the Bond, they're going to pretty much be successful. The reason that these are so difficult to use is there's a raised piece of metal that makes getting in and tightening or loosening much, much more difficult. So I want to demonstrate. I think I already tried this on the other side. Yeah, you can see how loose they are. I need to retighten them now. But what's going on here? I will demonstrate the same thing on the opposite side here. You're only going to need a single wrench for tightening or loosening on the tool side of the Leatherman Bond. I'm trying to remember which one is which. I think this is the correct side, and I'll try to show you as I do it. Now, I can feel that it hitting resistance. That means that this is the side with the pivot, not the screw. So I'm going to flip it over. So that should work. Let me once again demonstrate. No problem. Actually, this one doesn't have a lot of Loctite. Let me retighten that. And yeah, just pressing down. No problem. And notice that there's absolutely no damage to either the frame or the screw with these as well. Now the other side, which is the larger of the two, will let you adjust the nuts on the plier side. And that's also going to be exactly the same with the Super Tool 300. They are a little bit bigger on the plier side than they are on the tool side. It's going to function for both, and this is going to cover 99% of the tools. The only tool that doesn't have the ability to use with this that's currently in production is the Micra, which does need this little tiny one, but that's really kind of rare. And what I'm going to show you also is a solution. So if you don't want to try to source one of these, which is really, really uncommon, there is another way. That's what I'm going to move on to now. So I will put a link once again to where you can find these. I think it's really cool that we have something that's this inexpensive and readily accessible right here in America. So really, really cool. And I want to say big thank you to the guy who decided to put the engineering effort into rebuilding these and getting them made. Yeah, awesome. Anyway, let's talk about a different solution. And now the nice thing about these is that these screw pliers are going to be a little bit more universal. So this will apply to the Gerber proprietary nuts as well, and any other brand that has screws. And it's not just multi-tools, by the way. These are universal in that they can be used for a lot of different things. And as you can tell, I went a little crazy and I bought a lot of them because I really wanted to know which was the best one. So that's what we're going to talk about, and we'll go one by one. I got this first one. This is the PZ81. I think it's the 81. Yeah, the vice grip style one, which is pretty cool. And I like that it has the ability to grab onto something from the top like that, but it's really not for multi-tools. It could be, however, applicable to someone else doing another project. So I just thought it would be worth showing. I will put a link to everything you see here, but not all are going to work for the multi-tools. This is another one that, once again, does not work for multi-tools, but is still a useful item. It is a needle nose design with cutters. It is called the PZ60. Nice, comfortable grip. Really nice tool, but once again, not applicable here. Now, one that should have worked much better, and I'm just going to say don't get this one, period. This is the PZ56. Now, I expected this to be a very versatile piece of equipment. The teeth look nice and aggressive, but there's just too much play, and that little bit of play, even though it's not that much, is just enough to slip off and cause damage to either the tool or the screw. So I do not recommend getting these. Just skip them. Pretty much, and you'll see in a minute, there's a strictly better version of this made by a different company. I guess we'll start with that one. And these have been reviewed ad nauseum. I mean, everyone loves these tools. It was one of the best things they've released in the last couple of years. This is the Knipex 8201-200. These are called the twin grips. Incredibly comfortable to use, and the best part is they have actually a slip joint design that lets you open them up quite a bit more, and there's very little play, and the teeth on these are far more aggressive than the Engineer. You know, go figure. But yeah, these are super high quality and will work on the Gerber if you can get in. So all you have to do is kind of open the pliers to get them a little bit more space. And they will work on the Supertool 300, Leatherman Charge Plus. They will work on the Leatherman Crunch. The only ones these will not function properly on are going to be the rebar and bond. They are the ones that are going to give you the most trouble. There are specific tools that will work for this. So this will work for everything else, so that's a good one. The same thing is actually true for this, and I've found a lot of uses for this tool. This is one of my favorites of all the screw pliers that exist. There's a couple different models, one by Vanplier as well as Engineer, both made in Japan. This is the PZ59. Phenomenal. Like really useful tool, and nice and sharp, like really sharp on the teeth with this one. Just fantastic. Highly recommended. It works with the Supertool 300, all that series, as well as the Gerber multi-tools. Just a really good option. It doesn't have the slip joint capability. It's a little bit shorter in length than the twin grips, but absolutely one of the best. Highly recommended. Just a good tool to have in general. Now, here's an interesting one. I actually bought this way before this whole project because I thought this could be a great kind of substitute tool for the plier head in a multi-tool in the first place, as like something you could pocket, especially if I cut down the handles just a little bit more. I thought maybe I could do that because it has the combination plier, it has the cutters, it has also the benefit of having the teeth here to grip up front. It's just really versatile, except one major flaw. Not a flaw, it was specific to the design. Notice that if I'm squeezing it all the way, it still has a gap. That's purposeful, and it makes it better for its original application, but it also makes it kind of not one of the tools that I could use for replacing a multi-tool plier, sadly. But they work great for the Supertool 300, and yes, they actually are not half bad either, getting in there with the rebar or bond. They are absolutely able to grab them, but as I will explain, you can only have one of the two pliers that you have be not locking. because there's just not enough leverage in these to hold on and keep a grip without like slipping off, damaging the screw and the handle. So we'll talk about that in a minute. Another solution that is non-locking is this one. This is the PZ55, and if you're asking which one is better specifically for this purpose, this one actually grips on a little bit better and a little bit more flush. It just has a more rounded tip, and that seems to help it get past these raised sections. Now, the last two are really important. This one is very difficult to find, but it works the best out of the box. The PZ66 will work without any help on these knurled nuts, both on the larger ones and on the smaller. And you really do want something locking on one side so you can just grip it and just kind of keeping it in one place while the other one is rotating, right? And those are going to be these. You're going to use this opposite the locking plier. The problem is these are really hard to find. Notice once again, they're rounded like this, so they make it easy to get into those crevices. And that's not true with this one. This is so many different names, PZ64. The only issue with this that this has is it's flat on the front. If you are willing to do the modifications and actually just round the front just a little bit, these are actually just the better, more versatile tool. And they actually give a better grip to the nuts on the plier side. So I kind of recommend this one more, but you're going to have to take a diamond file or piece of sandpaper or something to the tip so that you can get it more rounded. Then it will actually function properly for the tool side. So all of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the 6 of these are very successful with this process. And everything I have just said is applicable to the Gerber. But it's important to note that you're only going to need a single one of these to be able to modify or adjust the Gerber multi-tools. They make it actually quite easy. So you could just get a single twin grip. That will have no problem doing it. You can use any of these locking pliers. They're all going to function perfectly fine because you only need a single plier to disassemble them. Very, very convenient. That's pretty much all I have to say. So I'm really, really thankful that we now have a much less expensive option for the proprietary screws on the Leatherman. I also think this gentleman is on his website selling parts for Leatherman tools, like spare for modification. So you can check that out as well. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say today. I finally have something to share that gives you a real solution to either tune up your multi-tool or to modify your multi-tool. We'll be doing a lot more like this. We might do an entire video just on tools for this process, but for now, we'll leave it where it is. Thanks again for stopping in. I appreciate your time, and we'll talk again soon.